There's no weight. There's a bench right there. And a bench out there. Let's go wander around and find a good spot, huh?
Just you?
Yeah, just don't be on, you know. Oh, hi, dog. Wait. I gotta put dog. Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's Bhakti Bites on the go this morning. Wait a minute. I might make it a regular thing, taking Bhakti Bites out in the world, because the whole point of this is to be able to take them wherever you go, right? To take these tools wherever you go. Eli Lynn, son, what are you doing?
I'm sitting back here.
Are you just going to hang out in the car?
Yeah.
With the puppy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you want to join me, I'll be over there on that bench, or I'll be under the overhang here, okay?
Okay. Ooh.
Okay. Dog and I are going to go. Love you too. Wait, dog. Okay. So, come on. For those of you who are new here and wondering what's going on, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being, and I am your shenanigan shaman, and this is our Bhakti Bites class. On the go. Usually, I do class in a corner of my house, but today we are out in town running some errands, and so I thought I'd find a nice space in the park to practice Bhakti Bites. What is Bhakti Bites? Bhakti means devotion in Sanskrit. So, devotion to what? Devotion to self-care. Because self-care is the foundational practice to all the others. Just as, you might have a great self-care practice where you go to the gym 3 times a week, right? Or maybe you got a self-care practice where you, spend an hour on your yoga mat in the evening. Well, that could be great too. Those are all great things, yes? But just like you don't drink all of your water for the day in one sitting, self-care should also be the things that we can do in the moment when we really need that self-care. Because what good is it to you if you can't use it in the moment when you need it the most, right? So that's what Bhakti Bites is about. In Bhakti Bites, we learn techniques, we learn tools to balance, harmonize, realign the energy body, the breath, and the being. So we've been working with mudras for many months now, many moons. Come on, puppy. We've been working with mudras for many moons because mudras are super accessible. Mudras are pretty much available to anybody. Even if you can't quite make the mudra with your hands. This is one I have gotten recently. Folks have been asking me, well, what if I can't make the mudra? What if my hands don't do that? And that's okay. Actually, I'm glad that question comes up, right? It's kind of like meditation. People go, oh, I can't meditate. And I go, I'm glad you said that, because you can. You can, because the reason you think you can't meditate is usually a misconception about what meditation is and what meditation is for and what meditation is supposed to look like. There is no such thing as one size fits all. And honestly, when someone tells you their way is the best way and the only way, I would immediately be suspicious. Or usually go, oh, that's cute. That's usually my response. Come on, dog. Come over here. Come over here. Come here. Come here. Come lay down. Come on. Okay. Sit. Lay down. Okay. So, our mudra for this week is the Mahatrika Mudra. And the Mahatrika translates in Sanskrit to fluidity, the concept of fluidity, the concept of movement, basically, creating movement in places that are stuck. So if you go look online and you go Google the Mahatrika, Mahatrika, if you go and you research this mudra online on Google, Google will pop up all these options that say, this is the mudra for constipation. And does it work on constipation? Yeah, absolutely. Does it work to get other things unstuck? Yes, it definitely does. This mudra works on the entire pelvic area, from the hips all the way down to the pelvic floor, into the hip joints, the front and the back, the pelvis itself, as well as everything inside of the pelvis. So it works on the reproductive organs, it works on the lower digestive system, it works on the bladder and the urinary tract, it works on things like hemorrhoid cysts. I am done saying for educational purposes only, because this is something that has been around and working for thousands of years. So I don't play the game anymore. I don't care if they ban me. It's not just for educational purposes. These are really powerful tools. Hey Serenity, good morning. And so I am here sharing them with you, even though social media is trying to shut me down. Never. I'm going to keep giving you guys free mindfulness tools, because they're so powerful that they're like, no, don't give people these. We want them to come buy the medications instead. No, we want them to come pay the doctors instead. No, don't give them back their power. Sorry, I've had coffee already this morning. Dangerous. All right, so the Mahatrika Mudra is done like so, okay? It's a two-handed mudra, and remember, if you cannot get the mudra perfectly, do your best to get as close as possible. Mudras work by redirecting the energy channels in the body. Just like an electrical circuit, you don't need to create a bunch of pressure to make the current flow. You just need a touch of a connection, and sometimes not even a connection, right? You can get close and feel that spark. So when we hold mudras, it's important for you to get as close as you can to the original mudra, and then to use no more than the weight of a nickel if you are making the connections. So, without further ado, the Mahatrika Mudra is done like so. Bring your thumb to meet your ring finger. Kind of like little shadow dogs, right? But with your thumb and your ring finger here. No more than the weight of a nickel, please. Then bring your hands together like this to touch. No more than the weight of a nickel, please. Bring your pinkies together. Yes, that means your ring fingers are going to bend a little bit like this. And keep your pointer and middle finger extended. So this is the Mahatrika Mudra, and it is held in front of the pubic bone. So you can just drop this in your lap, and actually I should probably lower the camera here so you guys can see the mudra while I'm actually sitting with it. Yeah. So we're gonna do that. Let's do that again, because that's a couple of steps, right? Let's do that again here. The Mahatrika Mudra for clearing out all the pelvic blockages. This one's also really good for clearing out SA trauma, inherited family, generational trauma. This mudra also works to clear out the runanabandhas, which are the physical manifestations of energy that we pick up from karmic things, from generational things, from physical things, right? Just touching things. We interact with their energy, and we oftentimes end up carrying a lot of that stuff with us, and a lot of it settles in our pelvic floor. So this mudra helps clear all of those things up. It's always recommended that you sit for a minimum of 5 minutes with your mudra. So if you have at least 5 minutes and you've got your hands free for those 5 minutes, come sit with the mudra with us. And if you've got time to close your eyes, if you've got space to close your eyes, then you can join us for a meditation. We keep our meditation nice and simple. Today we'll go a little bit more than 5 minutes because we're going to sit with the mudra and we're going to do a little bit of breath work and visualization. If you're like, shit, I can't visualize, that's okay. It's not imperative. Remember, The most important part about meditation is your intention and your attention. That's all you need to worry about. Do the mudra as best you can. Bring your attention back to the practice again and again and again, and offer yourself some grace. It's not a perfect practice. Meditation is not about perfection. Meditation is not about an end game or a reward or a place to arrive. It is a process. It is a practice, a personal practice. And the more you sit with it, the more it will resonate within you. So if you sit with this meditation today and you're like, I didn't feel a damn thing, trust that the mudra does its work and that you are doing the work by stepping on the path of practice, right? Okay. So we're going to sit for, let's say, less than 10 minutes. If I get really lost in the meditation, we'll sit for 10. At any point, if you are done, feel free to release the mudra and offer a little bit of gratitude, or stick with me and we will do those things together. So if it's available to you, go ahead and grab your Mahatrika Mudra. The Mahatrika Mudra, again, is bring your ring finger and your thumb to touch, little shadow dogs, no more than the weight of a nickel. Bring the fingers, both hands together to touch here, no more than the weight of a nickel. Keep your pointer and middle extended, and bring your pinkies to touch, no more than the weight of a nickel. It creates a kind of hip, pelvic shape here. So go ahead and rest this in your lap if you got the space to do so. If you've got some room, you can open your legs a little bit and put it right here in front of your pubic bone. If that's not available, go ahead and just rest it in your lap here. You want to make sure that it's as close as possible to your pelvis, because that's where it works. So the energy helps a lot more to have it there. All right, my son's on his way, so we're going to sit in meditation. Maybe it won't be 10 minutes. Hey, that's your boy. Okay. So Eli, can you please come around? Oh, you're coming right there. Okay. All right, guys. So, if you have a few minutes to close your eyes, as long as you're not driving, right? If you need your eyes open, please keep your eyes open, and you can just listen to meditation and catch this vibe. If you've got a second to close your eyes, go ahead and do so now, holding your mudra at your pubic bone or resting it in your lap. And we will begin with 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath into the lungs and down into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Hold at the top. And release. Take a moment, just seal the lips and follow the breath, inhaling all the way to the top and exhaling all the way to the bottom. Use the breath as an anchor. Use the breath as a soothing rhythm to lull you into this meditative state. Inhaling all the way to the top, elongating the breath with each inhale and exhale until you find a nice, steady, comfortable rhythm. All we're doing right now is just focusing on the breath. Don't mind the mudra. It's already starting to do its work. Right now your focus is simply to bring your awareness back to your breath. Rest your awareness on your breath, and as soon as your mind gets distracted, when you notice, bring it back to the breath. Any manner of things may distract our mind, pull our awareness away from our focal point here in meditation, which at the moment is just the breath. No matter what it is that pulls your attention away, a sound external, a thought internal, a sensation in your belly, a fear in your heart, whatever it is that crops up, Allow it to rise and fall the same way your heart rises and falls on your breath. Focus on that rhythm. And allow it to soothe the mind. Slow, steady inhales and exhales. Gently, lovingly returning our awareness to the breath again and again, no matter how many times it takes. Never falling into judgment, shame, guilt, blame. None of that nonsense right now. Taking the radical act of self-love to simply meet yourself with patience and willingness to be present with whatever arises. Now you can stay here in this part of your practice. If you'd like to deepen your practice, I invite you to add a little visualization. Now, if you can't visualize again, just set the intention. And instead, you can focus on sensations. You can focus on a mantra, just repeating the intention. You don't need to see something in your mind to receive the effect of the visual practice. So, on your next inhale, imagine pulling the breath not just into your lungs, not just into your belly, but all the way down into your pelvic floor. Continue following the breath, inhaling all the way to the top and exhaling all the way to the bottom, following each inhale and exhale from beginning to end. Now setting the intention to pull the breath all the way down into your pelvic floor. Take several breaths in this way. As we shift to this next part of our practice, I invite you to notice your mudra for a moment. Sometimes our mudras tend to collapse in themselves, so readjust if you need to, extending the pointer and the middle finger only with intention, no tension, and keeping no more than the weight of a nickel connection on all of the points. Resting the mudra in your lap or in front of your pubic bone. Inhaling the breath all the way down into the pelvic floor, filling that area with fresh, clean oxygen. And exhaling every last bit, emptying the body of all the breath and allowing the breath to carry with it anything that no longer serves you. Any blockages, any stones, any weights, any hemorrhoids, any cramps, any of that hullabaloo that we store in our pelvic floor. Allow the breath to clear it out like a good strong wind clears the air in your home. Fill your entire being with breath, pulling it all the way down into your pelvic floor. Big, deep breaths. Long, steady exhales. Any distractions that arise, whether they're internal or external, simply offer yourself a gentle smile and return back to your practice. Meditation is not about perfection. It is about being present with the process. Take a few more deep breaths, filling the pelvic floor, filling the whole pelvic region, filling the lungs, filling the belly, filling the pelvis, your entire torso, filled with fresh, clearing oxygen. And exhaling all of that breath, carrying with it all that no longer serves you. Let that shit go. As we take our last few breaths, I invite you to sink a little bit deeper into your breathing and allow for maybe a more audible inhale. Allow for a sigh, an audible sigh. Maybe stick your tongue out and let a lion's breath out. Allow the breath, give the breath a little more oomph to give it a little more power in this process. Oh, dog. Take your last 3 breaths. Last one. As you exhale, release the mudra and place your palms on your pelvic region, anywhere on the front. If you can get to your pubic bone, great. If you can sit on your hands, great. If you've got them up here on the sides of your hips, that's fine too. On the sides completely, that's great. Anywhere that you feel like your hands need to be. I've got some cramps this morning, but ooh, that mudra helped. So go ahead and place your hands on this area and take 3 more deep breaths. However those breaths come to you, through the nose, through the mouth, whatever works for you. Then release the breath, allow it to return to a natural rhythm, and rest your awareness in your pelvic region. Note the quality of the sensations there. Has something changed from when you began the meditation? Does this space feel more expansive? Does it feel more open? Does it feel kind of like it's buzzing or swirling? Just notice, bear witness to your experience, bear witness to whatever's going on in your pelvis. And then I invite you to offer it a smile. And say to yourself, I am loved. Say to yourself, I am safe. Say to yourself, I am. Again, I am. One last time. I am. Feel free to return to any part of the practice that you would like. If you'd like to sit in meditation for longer. If you feel complete, go ahead and bring your hands together at your heart in prayer, or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice, in gratitude for this space, in gratitude for this divine prana that flows through all of us, everything in creation, connecting us all to one another, allowing us to heal and align and balance and restore and protect these energy bodies and each other. And don't forget to offer yourself a shit ton of gratitude today. You did it. You made it. You got some self-care in. That was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes? I don't know. Good for you. I'm proud of you. And thank you so much for joining me today. When you are ready to come out of meditation, please do so slowly. Offer yourself some wiggles. Offer yourself some stretches. Offer yourself some... It's not very bright out here today, so I didn't do my normal, cover my eyes, blink them open, and carefully come out into the real world again. Hola, mijo, watch out.
I know.
Okay, so come around the tree, please. Let's not hang out right there, and please get off the live. Thank you. Can you please go get his leash? He's supposed to be on a leash.
I don't know where his leash is.
There's 2 leashes in the car. Did you lock the car?
No.
Okay, good, because my keys are in there. Can you please go get my keys out of the car? Good.
Where is...
You need to use your own eyes. I love you. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, guys. I'm going to catch up on the Bee Gees. Are you turning the Bee Gees into a chakra song? You're welcome, Christopher. Cheech. I love this question. Aren't you supposed to be quiet when you meditate? There are so many types of meditation. First of all, there are so many types of meditation. Second of all, no, you're not supposed to be anything when you're meditating. The most important parts of meditation are your intention and your attention. Choose your practice. You could be doing mantras. During mantra meditation, you are absolutely not silent. The whole point of the meditation is to speak. When you are guiding meditation, on the other hand, that is a skill that's taken years to develop, to be able to slip into a meditative state, to enjoy the meditation myself, but also be able to walk you guys through the pieces of that meditation. I've been doing this for a long time. So but no, you're not supposed to be anything in meditation. It's about the vibration of the body, but again, it's also not about that either, because a lot of times we want to go into meditation expecting a certain outcome or expecting it to be a certain way. And if we do that, then we miss the value of the experience itself. The expectation creates an attachment, and then eventually creates a kind of suffering because we either miss that attachment, we judge ourselves for not doing it right, or I didn't accomplish the goal that I had set for myself. Meditation is not about creating a battle within yourself. It's not about chiding yourself. It's not about guilting yourself in the middle of practice. It is really about showing up for yourself as you are in the moment and for whatever comes up. Meditation is not about being perfectly silent the entire time. It is about being present with every distraction that pulls your attention away. It is about being gentle with yourself when your mind monkeys are busy as hell and will not be quiet. I used to do that. I used to sit in meditation and get really frustrated because my mind was attacking me. I couldn't meditate. I ended up hurting myself more than anything else because I created a battle within myself. I got angry at myself. I chided and guilted myself, and ultimately I stopped meditating for quite a while until I discovered that meeting yourself with curiosity and willingness is the foundation of meditation. Anything on top of that, anything you receive with that, along with that, is a boon, is a gift, is a surprise, is a present. That's why they call it the present moment. Yeah. So, yes, Citrine, I found in life I do my best to not say should or supposed to. It derails my mind because it creates an expectation, and if you don't, and then we create negative self-talk around these expectations that we have for ourselves. And meditation, you can hurt yourself in meditation if you choose to use that time to do that kind of stuff, to chide yourself, to be, unpleasant with yourself. And that's why when I lead meditation, I remind you all over and over and over again to meet yourself with loving kindness, because a lot of us, our first knee-jerk reaction is to go, damn it. My self-talk is quite rude, you know? I got somebody in there who's like, we fucked up, right? Like, they're pretty quick to judge, and they're pretty quick to get mad. Now, does that go away when I meditate? Not always. I can have great days, and then other days I sit in meditation, and that's the loudest voice in my head that says, But then my practice becomes meeting that voice every time with loving compassion. That's harder to do than the nice voice who's like, oop, come on, let's be meditating. Oh, this is so good. Oh, it's so lovely. It's easy to be nice to yourself when things are going how you expect them to. So don't skip the expectations, and then meet whatever shows up with curiosity and willingness. Be willing to meet yourself wherever you are, because it's a beautiful process. That's how we discover ourselves. That's how we... What's that? You make voices. You make with the voices. Come on. Sorry, hold on. Puppy's wandered off. I'm just a small little squish. It's so cold out here. Oh. So what's funny is that I found when I'm in meditation and those really difficult voices come up in my head, I have discovered another voice that I call kind of my Mary Poppins, because she meets my distracted mind monkeys. She meets my frustrated voices and says, oops, we wandered off again. Like she's like a preschool teacher to my busy brain. And when my busy brain runs off and does something stupid, when it's over there bitching at itself, the more I meditate, the more I've meditated, right? Eventually this voice started to come out from behind, those louder voices that was going, oops, come back to the practice. What was that again? Your breath? Oh yes, okay, your breath. The more we meet ourselves with loving kindness, the more we soften. I'll use this example in another way to highlight this, right? I'll tell another little story. You really do hear them in different voices. I do too. I created an analogy for a pirate ship in my mind. There's something called internal family systems. New again, if you haven't heard of internal family systems, check it out. It's a really amazing psychological theory that I thought I came up with until I was in a therapy session telling my counselor about this, and she was like, "Oh, internal family systems." I was like, "Oh, I didn't create it. Damn it." I thought I was brilliant. But look up internal family systems, because it is the understanding that we have all of these different parts of self, and it's actually helpful for some of us to kind of play with that and create characters and have conversations, because it also helps us recognize that we are not those parts of self. Those are finite parts of self. Those are ego manifestations, thought manifestations. These are finite things. There's one right there in the basket. These are temporary things, right, that rise and fall within us. So many times we sit there and we say to ourselves, oh, my brain is attacking me because I have repetitive thoughts that are coming up. I invite you to... He's cold, honey. You want to sit and hold him? Okay. I invite you to... Okay, all right. All right. I got distracted by that. Is that better after the meditation? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know anything about it. Yes, Erica, internal family systems. Really, really, yay. Thanks, New again. Thank you for joining the Discord. Sorry, guys, that we are only live on TikTok today. Usually I go live on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitch, and on Kick. All of my replays for all of these lives are always on YouTube. I'm trying to spread myself across the socials because all of the socials, after I start to share this stuff, after I start to give you guys these tools, start to share them for free, start to talk about this stuff, they start to lag my content. And now that we have AI watching the algorithms, AI is recognizing QR codes in my content. When I'm sharing energy work, when I'm sharing mudras and light code activation stuff, the AI is saying, oh, this is QR content, we have to take it down. And I was like, oops, did you see the codes in the Matrix, AI? Dang it. Dang it. Now they see it. Now they see it. So anyway, that is why we are... we've created a Discord. If you want to join the Discord so that we can talk about this stuff and share this stuff without the AI bitching about having QR codes in the content, join the Discord. You can find that link on my Patreon, patreon.com/movewithchange. I am at Move With Change like fucking everywhere, and you'll see bits of content everywhere. But again, all the social medias like to hide my shit. So I post some, I go live as often, 4 times a week, and then the real meat of the bones of what we do is in the Discord. There's a couple of layers of the Discord. The Discord has the CAYA community. CAYA is CAYA, stands for Come As You Are, because if you are doing this work, ultimately what you're seeking is your authenticity. To reach enlightenment, you have to discover your authenticity, and then you have to get even bigger than that, right? Even beyond that layer of self. So if you are doing this journey, if you are doing this work, if you're on this journey, whether you've just started or you've been on a while, there are pieces of this that can feel really scary and confusing. There are parts of this that can be absolutely chaotic, and if you just started this, or you haven't found your tribe yet, you know what it's like to have an experience and to have nobody to talk to about it, or to have people look at you weird when you try to talk to them about this stuff, right? So we are creating a space so you can show up exactly as you are, no matter where you're at on this path, no matter where you've been or where you're from. The only thing that's important in there is that we show up approaching each other with curiosity and willingness, because I can never stand in your shoes completely, but the closest I can get is to honoring your perspective as valid and setting aside my judgment and bias so that I can get close to where you stand. In that way, that is how we see divinity. That is how we see the truth of our reality. That is how we collectively evolve, is by sharing our perspectives, is by standing together with curiosity and willingness, is by recognizing the divinity in each of us. Remember, if you don't see God in all, you won't see God at all, because God is in everything. And to say that, oh, God exists here but not here, then you do not see the whole. Then all you're seeing are deities and effigies, right? Shadows and mirrors and smoke and whatnot. And there's a lot of that. But the truth is behind all of that and underneath all of that. And the truth is in you as much as it is in me. So, in the Discord, we have fun stuff like a dance hall. We've got a culture exchange space. I offer more resources like mudras and recipes. So that's the free area of the CAYA community. And then we also have membership levels depending on how deep into the Sangha you want to get. A Sangha is a mindfulness community, right? So depending on the layer of membership that you choose, you can get from anything from, a weekly practice session that we do in the Sangha where we learn some more mindfulness tools related to the theme each week. I do astrology forecasts as well. I do private coaching and private energy work and private practice sessions, but I only do these things on subscription. Why? Because this isn't a one and done deal. If you're actually doing this work and really want to do this work, then make a commitment and pick up a subscription. If you're just dipping your toes in, choose a different level or hang out in the community courtyard. All of those things are available. There is no judgment or pushing or any of that for wherever you are. I am not a salesperson. I'm not interested in selling you something that you don't want and something that's not sustainable for you. I want you to receive the tools that you want. And if you get in a little bit and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, and you want to dive all the way in, you can do that. If you dive all the way in head first and then go, whoa, this is not for me, you are more than happy to get the, more than welcome to get out of the pool or find somewhere else, go in the shallow end instead. Like, it's flexible. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about what you want to receive. And you can get all the way. I also offer multiple workshops per year, which I always sell externally. But as members from the Sangha Scholars level and above, you get complete unfettered access to all of my workshops as well. That is a huge value. Probably to my detriment, I pack all of those levels of membership with so fucking much because I don't want to have to charge you guys. I would rather just give this shit away for free. I'd rather just sit under a tree and share this all day long and that be it. But we live in this modern matrix, and I've got a kid and 2 dogs and a couple of cats, and I like to buy seeds and garden things and crystals. So to keep our modern lives happening, I have to have some kind of exchange, and it's also important for you're part of the exchange too, right? To show that commitment by being willing to show up for whatever part of the practice is what you really want. So thank you, Citrine. I have been working on with my throat chakra for a very long time. I'm astrologically really heavy energy in my throat chakra. I have always felt like I've been screaming from a mountaintop about this stuff. I started my personal spiritual journey as a very young kid. I had my first awakening experience at 7. But until the age of like 35 or 38, like really until the last few years, I have had a glass wall in front of me. As much as I scream, it doesn't seem to get anywhere. And I'm sort of facing that again with social media as I speak out again. The more confidently and the more loudly I speak, the more backlash I get from social media hiding my stuff. Because when you search for yoga, what do they want you to see? Tight shorts, funny angles, right? That's mostly what you see. You have to really start digging deep to find anything else. And when you find those things, a lot of times they're full of also like sensational whatnots. This is the same thing, right? Okay, so the Mahatrika Mudra, what were we talking about earlier, right? If you go search Google for the Mahatrika Mudra, if you missed it earlier, the replay is on YouTube. I'm at Move With Change. This is the Mahatrika Mudra. If you go search this on Google, what are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you this is for constipation. You're going to find very little information elsewhere. But this is far more powerful than that. Ovarian cysts run in my family. Reproductive cancer runs in my family. I have severe menstrual cramps. This mudra is a lifesaver. I don't take medication. Otherwise, I am laid out for the first 24 hours unless I use this mudra. Today, driving here, I had my hand on my gut, half doubled over in pain, trying to come out and run errands. That session we just sat with, and I have 0 cramps. That is a miracle for me. So, they don't want you to have all the information. And there's a reason for that, and we can get into that on the Discord, right? That's a lot of fun conversation that we can have because I've also been studying media. I've been studying media manipulation since the 90s. And I have a lot of information on that too. And I'd like to share that with you guys, but that is stuff that the social media won't let me share, period. Unless I do it in like a weird sensationalized way, or I do it with the fake makeup tutorial way, and I'm just over playing the game of beating around the bush. Yeah. Thank you, New Again. You are a miracle, my friend. You are your own guru, right? I am just a reflection of yourself. And no matter what I say, you're not going to hear it unless you're ready to hear it, unless you're willing to hear it. If you come in here and assume that what I have to share is not something you want to hear, then you will never hear it and it will never resonate with you, even if it's information for you, even if it's true or powerful for you. If you show up with curiosity and willingness, then you will see what you are ready to perceive. You will receive what you are ready to receive, what you are open to receiving. We worry so much about whether or not we're doing things right all the time, when really it's not so much about right or wrong. It's just showing up for it. It's just showing up for it. Again, I was talking earlier about our brains attacking us, kind of, thinking my brain is attacking me sort of deal. Like, that's what I was going to say. I invite you, next time you're having an obsessive thought, next time you're having something that won't let you go to bed, it just keeps coming up again and again and again. Holy crap, please go away, leave me alone, I gotta sleep, right? Thank you, friend. Remind yourself in that moment. Stop with the like, oh my God, my brain's attacking me. Oh my God, why is this? Like, stop with the self-talk. Stop. And find that little Mary Poppins inside of you. And meet yourself with the recognition that thought is trying to get out. It is pinging around inside of it trapped inside of your psyche and inside of your body. This is how we end up with so many dis-eases and imbalances, is because we get all these things stuck in there. Because when they come up, we go, oh my God, that's mine. And we take it and we restore it and we look at it and we pull it apart and we pick it apart and we talk about it all the time and we tell everybody about my anger and my depression and my anxiety. Literally identify it with it as if it's part of me. It's not. It is a grave misconception. It needs to be released. It's like a belch, okay? Thoughts, sensations are more like gas needing to be released than your body or your mind attacking you. Please, if you do nothing else, if you take nothing else from my sessions, please stop attacking yourself, shift that perspective, and recognize that when those things come up, when that memory comes up from 10 years ago while you're doing the dishes and you're like, what the fuck? It's trying to be released. Transmuting that energy. You're just explaining that to you? Yeah. So, if you'd like to get deeper into this stuff, if you want to do more than just hang out on the live and chat, via text, if we want to talk face to face, if you want to get in Zoom calls, if you want to explore the workshops that I do, come join the Discord. So somebody asked a while ago, and I'm sorry I missed it and didn't get around to it, the Patreon, it's spelled funky, isn't it? It's like Paetron. Patreon. It's on my profile on TikTok here. So if you just go to my bio, you can click the link for the Patreon, and you can get a member. You can find the free link to join the Discord there. There's also some blog stuff. There's also some fun resources on the Patreon, but there's not a lot there because most of the stuff is in Discord. And we're keeping it that way so that there are not any external eyes looking in and saying, you can't do that. You can't talk about Tantra. You can't talk about mudras and energy work. No. You can't realign your being. Speaking of, I have a chakra workshop that is going to be coming out here in the next couple of month or two. Once I get myself to sit down and finish putting it together. I upgrade my workshops every year. Hey, dirty little unicorn, how are you, my friend? Hey, Jersey Moon. Look at you guys all rolling in late. I love you guys so much. Yes, Patreon, Patreon. Thank you, patreon.com. Out of this world. You said you can't even notice when the judgmental thoughts are there. It's like they hide from my awareness. Yes! Okay, so thank you for saying this, because it's really important, right? It's really important to acknowledge that there are layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of this. You start receiving your meat bag programming, your material world, finite world programming in utero, genetically. And then every experience and information that you collect through your developing years, which last until your 20s, all builds up the blocks that make you who you are. Build this ego layers, this body, the shape of this body, the color of this body, like all this, everything about you is manifested not just by a pre-programmed set of script, but also by what you receive in this lifetime. So there are so many layers, and a lot of those early layers are pre-verbal layers, prefrontal cortex layers, where you didn't have the capacity to look back and reflect, pre-consciousness layers, because the human brain does not move out of the dream time, out of the theta brainwaves until you're 8 years old. You are dreaming. Your brain is in the dream time until you're 8. So there are unconscious layers, and there are layers of protection, layers of foundation that won't ever speak words to you. The negative self-talk that you hear in voices is usually from later times where you are verbal, where you can communicate and have more complex discussions. Oftentimes these are the voices of your caregivers or your friends or the whoever influential people. But there are also years beneath that, months, years beneath that, where time does not exist for you, where nothing is permanent, where you're in the dream time and the things and events that happen to you, you don't have a framework for storing them properly in your brain. So they end up in your body, and they end up in your primitive brain. They end up as your knee-jerk responses. They end up as the knot in your throat that you have no explanation for when you're trying to speak up. And if you were, for example, we'll use an example, if you were an infant who was left to cry it out, you most likely have not just throat chakra damage, but a couple other ones too. And then later in life, when you go to speak up what you need, when you go to speak up about your boundaries, when you go to request something from someone, you might find a knot in your throat. And you're like, I don't know why I really struggle to just say what I want. Like, I feel so afraid to do that. Because as an infant, you learned that the universe does not respond to your requests for help. So that's me too, Mandy. It's an example I like to use a lot because it took years of layer uncovering. I knew that about my childhood. Then I went and studied child development. I would study human development and wellness across the lifespan for 12 years. And even after study, even after years of research and certifications and, all of this stuff, I knew it here, but I was still experiencing the block here. The only way that I was able to change this energetically, physically, and rewire my brain was through mindfulness. This is why I'm here teaching you guys mindfulness for free. This is why I'm sitting here saying, I don't want to have to charge you for this. So I give you all kinds of shit for free. And then when you do pay me, I give you like tons more stuff. You're like, oh my God, you paid me for this? Cool. I would totally give it for you for free. But technically I'm not supposed to do that. There's supposed to be some exchange. I got to pay bills, I guess. Yes, Mandy, 7 years, peeling back the layers. Yay. I'm so glad you're here. Come join us on the Discord. That's where a lot of this happens. Ooh, feel so refreshed and fresh eyes on the blockages you had. Good. And so when those things, let's go back to that. When those things come up, okay, when your cycle hits and your cramps start, when you wake up with a cluster migraine or you end up with one at the end of the day, right? When your knee starts to give you a little bit of trouble out of nowhere, right? There's all of these layers of self. When your gut swirls. Next time, just today, okay? Don't fuck tomorrow. You can do whatever you want tomorrow, but just today. When any of these old complaints and blockages and diseases and imbalances come up, I invite you to do one little practice. I invite you to touch that part of your body, right? So let's say it's my throat closing up and feeling scared. I'm going to touch my throat, and I'm going to remember that this thing just needs to be released. And I'm going to take one deep breath. I'm going to inhale to fill the breath, fill that space with breath. If it's your throat, fill your throat. If it's your armpit, fill your armpit. If it's if you got hemorrhoids, fill your asshole with it. Just breathe deep, fill that space with breath. And then as you exhale, say to yourself, I release. Or imagine the thing off-gassing, right? I don't go live with people I don't know, friend, but feel free to send me a message and we can chat about going live another time. Feel free to visualize this in any way that works for you. Let it come up. Oftentimes, don't even do something on purpose, right? Inhale, exhale, touch it. That's it. It's right here, or it's right here. Or my cramps, right? I was having cramps earlier, so let's touch right there. I'm gonna take a deep breath in. I'm gonna pull the breath all the way into that space, fill that space with breath, and then when I let it go, I'm just gonna see what happens. Because sometimes you might feel something in that physical area. Sometimes you might hear a sound. Sometimes you might get a visual. A lot of times I get a visual and I'll get like sparks or smoke, or I'll feel something physical, pop or swirl or twitch. Just bring your awareness in. Because what does quantum physics tell us? This is the secret, because I'm going to get banned for this shit. This is what they start to ban me for. What does quantum physics tell us? Is that the simple act of observation changes a thing. The simple act of turning your light of awareness onto a thing, anything, and it changes. Does it completely transform it? No, maybe. I don't know. Are you that alchemical? Are you that magical? I'd like to meet you if you are a wizard. But it changes it on a molecular level. Use that power to change your physical, mental, emotional, energetic state of being. That's what it's for. You're not... what kind of magic is there? I mean, really, I guess I could like look at the tree and go, ooh, on a quantum level, I just changed that tree. And I could just like tickle myself about it. But why not use the superpowers you have to heal yourself? Thank you, friend. Why not use the superpowers you have on yourself and the people you love? And the people you don't love, right? My favorite is like radical healing, where I just look at somebody who's clearly an asshole and I look at them with love. I look at them with love. Because the simple act of observation changes that state of being, and it changes the molecular structure of that person. And when I send them love, it changes that too. Now, if they are so closed off that they don't want to receive that love, it'll bounce right off because they've chosen to close themselves off from it. The only time we do not experience love, the only time we do not experience God, the only time we do not experience peace, the only time we do not experience these things is when we close ourselves off to them. And oftentimes we close ourselves off to them unconsciously, unintentionally, because of this programming, because of these early experiences that we just learned how to... The body wasn't thinking for itself. It was just doing its best to keep you, this divine miracle that you are, alive and safe. Why? Why is it so important that you stay alive and safe? Why did everything in the universe culminate in some miracle that is you, that there will never be a you again, and never be a you, never was, never will be? Why? Because there's a particle of divinity inside of you. Because there is divinity flowing through you. Because you are another set of eyes and ears, another heart of divinity. You are a drop in the ocean, and without you, we are not whole. Without my asshole, I am not a body. Without my armpits expressing toxins, I am not a body. In fact, my body would not function without these things. And so when you look around and you see somebody with a stinky ass attitude, somebody who's a real asshole, or somebody who's acting like a total chode, remember that we need every part of the body for the body to function as a whole. And so we kind of need the asshole. Yeah. I love you guys. Yes, appreciation of all. If you don't see God in all, you won't see God at all. That's why I dislike very much the love the sin or not the sin. Like, no. It's radical. It's radical. It's fucking radical. My brain keeps saying it again. It's like, it's really radical to love everything in creation. Does loving mean accepting and receiving and putting in and on you everything in creation? Fuck no. I can love the gifts that are for you, even though they're not my style, not something I'd wear. That adorable pink sweater that's all fluffy and cute on you, man, I love that for you. Those assholes wandering over there, I love that for you. In fact, I am so grateful because I don't want to be an asshole. I think that's pretty brave of you, actually, to be the asshole and help us express the toxins that humanity needs to get rid of. Thank you. It helps. It helps. Doesn't mean you have to keep those assholes in your life. Doesn't mean you have to surround yourself with a bunch of assholes. No, you only need one. And it's yours. It's the only one you really need. So start with you. Thank you, guys. So start with you. Start with loving your asshole first. This is also why they banned me. It was through this radical self-love that I radically changed my life, radically healed from, I shouldn't say that past tense, made leaps and bounds, unexpected strides in my healing when I started meeting myself with radically compassionate self-talk, with radical self-love. And I'll tell you this story before I go because it's now dropping sort of slush on us. I think it's going to start snowing here. I left an extremely abusive relationship a couple years ago, horrifically, and I've been gaslit for multiple years, and was told all of the truth in one day. So imagine having your entire vision of what reality is, and then have somebody pull the rug out, the wool off your eyes, and go, "Actually, I've been fucking with you the whole time. Here's what's actually been happening." You can imagine the PTSD and a bunch of other things that come from that, especially when those are horrific things that have been happening, things that you've been thinking had been happening. Anyway, that's not the story right now. That's not the story. That's not the story. The story is I fucking got out of there. Look, they're asking me to verify. Okay. I got out of there with a heavy, heavy drinking problem. With a heavy, heavy smoking problem. Heavy. With a heavy, heavy anger problem. With a heavy, heavy fear problem. Every day, I was up to my eyeballs in suffering. Self-created and self-perpetuated. It was so bad that I wasn't sure each night I went to bed, I wasn't sure if I'd wake up. I thought my mind would just kill me in my sleep, or the night terrors would. One evening, drunker than shit, I sat on the edge of my bed and I patted myself on the back and I said, "Good job. You survived the day and you only had a 6-pack. You could have had a 12-pack. And you only had a pack of cigarettes. You could have had 2. Good fucking job." And I went to bed. The next day, somehow it stuck with me. Next day I did it again. But this time I tried to put a little bit more heart into it, right? You know, I was like, "Good job. You only had a 6-pack. Good job. You only had a pack and a half of cigarettes. Good job. It's okay. I know it's not perfect, but I love you." And every single night, thank you, babe, that's adorable. Every single night I started to do that to myself. I was bitching so bad at myself during the day and before that about drinking and smoking, trying to quit, trying to force myself to quit by bitching at myself, right? You see how well that works. We know how well that works. So I tried this. It didn't happen overnight. It took a couple of weeks. But in those weeks, when I wanted, instead of having no choice but to open the beer or to have a cigarette, I felt a little bit more space between I need to smoke and lighting the smoke. And I used that space to love myself, to offer myself alternatives like a glass of water, a snack, a walk, tantrum on my yoga mat, right? Like, I'm all about shenanigans. Shenanigans are really good too. And in less than 2 months, I had quit both. And in less than 2 months, I started fasting again. And in less than 2 months, I quit alcohol, cigarettes, weed, coffee, and meat. All in a matter of 2 months. Not by fighting myself, not by bitching at myself, not by forcing myself, not by hurting myself, not by picking myself up by my bootstraps and carrying on, not by any of that no pain, no gain bullshit, but by radical self-love. And it felt radical. It felt wrong. It felt stupid. I thought I was gonna hurt. Like, I literally was like, this is bullshit. I can't believe you're congratulating yourself for fucking drinking. You're a fucking lush. Like, that background noise was still there. Don't mistake me. The background bitch was still there. But there was something else too. And every single time I chose to pay attention, to put my attention on the something else, it got a little bit louder and a little bit louder and a little bit louder. So just for today, I invite you to meet yourself that way. Just for today. You can go back to doing whatever you want to do tomorrow. You can bitch at yourself all fucking day long and make up for it tomorrow, right? If you really want to, you can do that. For today, meet yourself with radical compassion, radical self-love. Just try it. I don't care if it feels silly. Do it and laugh at yourself. Do laugh at yourself, right? And just see what happens. This recovery, yeah. Just for today. Just for today. Remind yourself of that often. Just for today. Tomorrow never comes. Yesterday only exists in our mind. All you really have is right now. And now. And now. And now, so what are you waiting for? And now. Look at this gift. Right here, right now. Beautiful, miraculous you, alive in this present moment. Being the most amazing version of divinity that you can be. Having divinity right there within you, breathing life through you, observing the world through you, loving, learning, growing, healing, crying, being angry, all of it through you. You're a conduit for God to express itself. That's pretty fucking special. That's pretty fucking miraculous. So, remember that. Remember that you are important. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. We need you. Leftover intermittent fasting, being connected to sobriety. I would love to talk about fasting a little bit more. I hesitate to do so on lives because there's a lot of people coming and going, and there's a lot of stuff on social media that people take and turn into something that's really unhealthy, and so I don't speak about it very often on lives. But if you would like to talk about fasting and that kind of stuff more in depth, please come into the Discord. You can join the Discord through my Patreon page, patreon.com/movewithchange. Michael, I'm so glad we lifted your spirits for the day. Son, please move out of the back behind me. Okay, he's right here. Hold on. He wants to go. He's tired. He's cold. Can you let go? Okay. Okay. So, join the Discord, and I will be happy to talk more about fasting there. But there's things that I don't want to talk about. Here on social media. So, okay. So again, please go follow me on YouTube. If you follow me nowhere else, please go follow me on YouTube. That's where all of my replays are. That's where most of my content is. I will still post in other places. Go find the Patreon. Follow the Patreon. You'll get announcements and stuff like that there. It's in lieu of my website right now because my website's down. So patreon.com, at Move a Change. I'm at Move a Change on YouTube. Do you need a sweater? Puppy needs a sweater. Oh. Yes, YouTube, at Move a Change. Yeah, the link for the Discord is in my bio here on TikTok. I will try to get it into my bio on YouTube if it's not already there, but I think there's a schedule there at least, and I think it also has my Patreon link in the schedule. If you have any questions about any of this, want to work with me, want direct links to things instead of go searching for them for yourself, feel free to just message me on any of the platforms, or email me at rev@gmail.com. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being, and I am your shenanigan shaman. Because laughter is the fucking best medicine, and play is one of the most profound healing tools that we have in our arsenal. Yeah. All right, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me today. That's all right. Leftover, we can all share ideas and talk. You know, my perspective is just my perspective, and I am not here to change anybody's mind. I am here to share with you what has changed mine, and what has changed my life, and what has brought me out of the depths of depression, what has saved me from the chaos of anxiety, and what has brought me back from my deathbed several times. Mindfulness. And I share them here for free because they're that fucking powerful. I share a lot more when you become a member. And you can do so on my Patreon, or you can do so in the Discord. But I'm only sharing what works for me. You can choose to take it or leave it. I am not here to change your mind, because where you stand in reality is where you need to be. I'm curious about where you are and what works for you, because you may have a tool that I've never seen. And it may be exactly the thing that my toolbox was missing. So that's why we approach each other with curiosity and willingness. Yeah? I love you, friend. Life is what you make it. Let's see, where are you? Dave, life is hard. Life is what you make it. Life is what we assume it is. Life is what, I know that's a really hard thing to say when you're kind of in that place of life fucking sucks. But the reality is that we have layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of programming, conscious and unconscious, not by any nefarious means, but really just because you're human, and that's how you grow, and that's how you become who you are, is through this first 20-some years of programming. And then that influences every single thing you do, see, hear, taste, smell, feel. My son just recently said to me, he goes, "Mom, I just discovered something about pain." I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I just discovered something about pain." He said, I must have hit my toe the other day, and I looked at my foot and I realized I had a scratch. It was even bleeding and I didn't even feel it. He goes, "Pain's not real. It's only in our heads." And I was like, that's a really good place to start, kid. That's a really fucking good place to start. So we've continued that conversation because there's a lot more to it than that, right? But yeah, exactly. I was like, fucking A. They teach us so much, do they not? All right, guys. I love you so much. I've got to go. It is going to be snowing here in a second, and I've got to go pick up some yoga mats for the in-person yoga class that I'm going to be teaching tomorrow. I probably won't go live with that class. It's going to be here in town. But I will be live Friday morning on YouTube, Kick, Twitch, and TikTok for Tiny Yoga. It's a 30-minute chair flow for everybody in every space. If you live in a small space, a tiny home, an RV, a shed, and you're like, I don't have enough space to do yoga. Yes, you do, and I'll show you how. Come join me on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time for Tiny Yoga, okay? We'll explore the inner cosmos. Now it's snowing on me. Actually, it's hailing on me. Okay, I love you guys. Mwah. puppy is shivering. I'm going to take these kids and go. Have a great day. Go find my replays on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Patreon. And for my Sangha members, we have Sangha coaching tonight at 4:30 Pacific time, okay? Come join us for the Zoom call for Sangha coaching. If you want to get into Sangha group coaching, go join the Patreon. Go join through Patreon or Discord right now, and we'll get you all set up so you can join us on the group call tonight, okay? I love you. Have a great day, and I'll see you later.